Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the House Jack City Podcast Backstage Sports Edition with your host, Rob Eggers, alongside my friends, my boys, my brothers, Darrien Walker, and simulcasting from Chicagoland, Roy Herman. Welcome, boys. Let's go. Come on, man. Put the claps up. Let's go, man. This is
Hello. How are we doing?
We're here. We are here. And I wanted to say right off the bat, it's been many, many years of, putting things together like this. I wanted this podcast from like 10 years ago, and it's finally happening. And I couldn't do it with a better crew with these two gentlemen right here, Darrien beside me and Roy simulcasting in Chicagoland. Now, before I introduce everybody and who they are, where they're from, I just want to say we were supposed to go live with video, but we do have some behind-the-scene video for episode 1 that we will showcase here in the future. But right now, we're just going to give you guys the audio version podcast, but in the future, we will have video and audio available for everyone moving forward. So with that said, let's get into it. I want to introduce my guy, and he's going to tell a little bit about himself, where he's from, what he's doing now, and his future goals. We're going to go backstage right now with Darrien Walker. What's up, my friend? How you doing, boss?
Hey, everybody, man. What's up, Rob? I'm just glad to be here. Definitely a big moment. I'm glad that we can sit here, and just bring this all together. But long story short, y'all, my name is Darrien Walker. I'm 24 years old. I am the official football video director for IMG Academy currently.
Yeah.
I am working to be an expiring player personnel director. And at some point down the future, maybe a NFL GM, potentially. But born in Boston, Massachusetts, mainly raised in Albany, Georgia, so I claim both north area and south area. Mixture of both worlds. I'm just glad to be here. God blessed me to be here another day. God blessed me with this opportunity, and I'm just real excited to sit here and talk sports with these guys.
That's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the show, Darrien, and I'm happy that you are with the House Jack City family. Now, we all don't really need introduction for this man, but I'll give him just a tad bit introduction like the NWO did back in the day. And if you know who the NWO are, the Wolfpack, we know that this man has been by my side since the beginning of Sports Preview, or should I correct myself, Roy, Football Weekly on Bolingbrook Community Television, Channel 6. But this man right here has done it all almost, right? He's been to Boston. He's done a PA job for the Boston Red Sox, and he'll get into that later on, maybe in this story here. Here's your segue. Welcome, the man, the myth, the legend, Roy Herman. Welcome, brother. Welcome, babe.
Well, thank you, boys. It's great to be here. You know what? A little bit like Forrest Gump. I've been just about a little bit everywhere. Got some lucky breaks here and there, and did get a chance to go to Boston, Fenway Park, back in 2012. I was guest in the chair for the late Carl Bean that tragically passed in a car accident. So it was very humbling, and the Lord gave me that opportunity to sit in that chair. Before him, it was the late Sherm Feller. And it was just the most amazing experience ever. But I've been doing public address announcing since 1995 for Joliet Junior College, my alma mater. Just recently, Joliet Catholic Academy, yes, the 15 state time champions in football. So, and then also minor league football. You remember, Rob, of course, the Will County Buccaneers. So I've done a little bit of it all, in television, radio, and then podcasting. So sports is my love. Growing up here in Chicago, I witnessed a lot of great memories. The 85 Bears, the 90s Bulls, the 05 White Sox, the 2016 Cubs, and I've adopted Boston as my second hometown, kind of like what Darrien was talking about with the whole Boston, Georgia thing. So I've witnessed the curse of 2004 being broken, and then a few more titles in 07, 2018. Right. So, just a lot of great memories, a lot of great friends I've met along the way, and just better things yet to come.
That's what I'm talking about, Roy. And, we have a lot to talk about, obviously, in the show portion of it. If people don't know who Roy and I really are, we started basically in my basement at the age of 13 years old, running basically a show with a VCR camera. A VCR camera. You guys know what a VCR is? You know what a VCR is, Darrien?
Yes, I do. I mean, I know I'm 24, guys, but look,
Yeah.
I'm young. I'm not that young, though.
Hey, it's okay. We always have to ask because some people don't know, right? But basically, we started in the basement with a chalkboard, and a friend of mine from the show, Roy's friend as well, Anthony Stalter, which, hey, Anthony, if you're listening, he's down at ESPN right now in St. Louis running his own show. So make sure to check in on him on ESPN. So congratulations to him.
101.1 FM in that area.
Absolutely. And what's the show? The Turn, right? He does The Turn?
Fast Break.
Fast Break. He was on The Turn to start, and now he's doing Fast Break, which is a primetime show. So congratulations. He is the host of that show. So make sure you check out Anthony Stalter on ESPN in St. Louis. So with that said, it was a dream in the beginning. Roy, I would say, I brought you on. I talked to you. I talked to Andre, which will be on a future show as well, which we'll get into him later. We all started basically with the Bolingbrook High School football team. Do you remember our first show, what a disaster it was?
I just remember we did an interview with Phil Acton at one point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been around the block, so to speak. We cut our teeth, we made some mistakes, but that's what you do, right? When you're 13, the great Tom Skilling here in Chicago just retired. He was 14 when he started his career. So you kind of just have to keep going, make those mistakes, but along the way, you'll learn something and maybe be great. So
that's what I'm talking about.
Darrien's just cutting his teeth. He's a baby at 24.
Hey, when I was 23, man, I started structured music, and now I'm looking at Darrien, seeing him as a young me. So I love it.
Yeah,
I'm just taking notes, guys. At this point, I'm just taking notes.
So yeah, it's this first show too. By the way, is definitely wasn't planned the way it is, but we're making it work, right, guys? I mean, Roy, you're on a phone right now through the Rode Caster, which is an awesome board, by the way. Anyone that's looking to do some podcasting, it's a little pricey, but they have the second version out, but we're on the first version. And no, we're not getting sponsored by them. I'm just letting everyone know.
Speak for yourself. I'm on the second version here, buddy.
He is on the second version. We're on the first version. We got both versions, baby. We got both versions going on right now. You got the son and father. You got Father Time, and then you got the newborn Rodecaster 2 over there. But since we're cutting time short today, we're 10 minutes in, and we want to make sure we get through, everything that we're going to do. And I know, Roy, you might have some questions, Roy. I think you want to segue us into something in our next topic that we're going to talk about.
Absolutely. So I know you guys work with a lot of folks from the NFL, being down at IMG Academy, and you meet a lot of people that come in globally, a lot of prospects and people that you're hearing about before they're even household names, so to speak. So I guess on a day-to-day basis, just, when you meet these folks, first of all, can you tell right from the start? It's almost like you're scouting, although you're recording them and doing some video work, but you're almost like scouts to an extent, or coaches where, you're helping them. And that's got to feel pretty cool too, right? That you're having a hand in maybe the next, who knows, right? Travis Kelce or Patrick Mahomes. But just paint a little picture about a day in the life, what it looks like down there when these kids come in. And have you known any of that have gone on already to big things?
Yeah, Roy. So to start that question off, yes, we sit here and we've been blessed to sit here and just actually have so many talented young men just come, put the grind in, and just be able to sit there and elevate themselves in their game going towards the next level. So far, we've had a few great big names come up. One name in particular, he had just left when I had just got hired, who will be a top pick this year in the NFL draft, is J.J. McCarthy. He's the most famous one so far, but we have some good ones going on right now. Keytron Allen just finished up at Penn State, I believe. His name should be in the draft. Desmond Ricks, who was at Alabama, just transferred to Texas A&M, so I'm expecting a big breakout season for him. But just in here and being a part of that process with the coaches and helping them analyze, break down, and install film, it's a blessing, really. Like you're a part of just such a fundamental process of just helping to ensure that these players are developing and elevating their game, training their minds, helping them just sit here and truly understand the regimen of what it takes to be on a collegiate and professional level. It's really great to be around. You have coaches who have played in the NFL, coaching the NFL. And then along with being a part of this NFL IPP program and just being around these amazing NFL individuals who have played in the league, who have coached in the league, and just being able to pick their mind and just take in all the amazing knowledge. It's just truly been amazing. It's almost like every day is something brand new. You sit here, you soak up the knowledge, and you just continue to take it all in, just to the point where you're able to just truly mold that knowledge in your own personal way for your own craft that you're looking to sit here and aspire to build and grow to be. So it's been great. It's been fun. One thing I really appreciate is just having Rob along that trip. Him getting to experience that this first year and just being a part of that everyday grind process and see exactly like just how things all came into play, down from the practices to meetings to game days.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And Darrien has taught me a lot too about the business. And see, this is where also, Roy, that, me and you can share this. We don't judge anyone by, hey, man, you're 20 years younger than me and you don't know shit. Well, no. Guess what? That's not how I look at it. I see Darrien as a very, very high-profile person that is going to succeed in this business because of the knowledge he has, the perseverance and the confidence that he has, and he gets the shit done. He's the first one there, last one to leave mentality. We are perfectionists, and he can agree with you when we were on the road together. We were at Key West. He's traveled with National to New Jersey, to Pennsylvania. He has big stuff coming up this year too, and we're hopefully going to get me back in IMG. But we'll talk about that later. When the new season starts, I mean, there is a huge abundance of road games and overseas games that are occurring that I don't want to mention yet. But basically, it's just a lot going on, and you have to have the mentality, not only to know what you're doing in the videography portion of it, but the film. We are known as coaches, and the respect factor doesn't come from us calling each other coaches. It comes from the coaches themselves. Darrien can agree. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you, Coach. Damn, are we coaches? We are, because people don't understand. We are creating recruiting videos, or we're creating developmental videos with every position at IMG Academy, for example. I'll use IMG as an example, and the NFL, because I'm with the IPP doing that as we speak right now. But it's very important, and you don't realize that the film that you're taking and the amount of effort you're putting in and the time that you're putting in is very, very important to the players, coaches, and everybody involved in this program. So I'm excited for what's coming, and and it goes back to my overall short introduction of who I am with the overall Sports Preview and Football Weekly. It started in the basement. We moved forward to the first show. We got through adversity. We started getting more shows in the future, and then we really started getting guests, and we started learning more, right, Roy? I think you can agree with that. We started learning more about what the business aspect of sports is all about, not just the players, not just us going out there and, saying, hey, we're football fans. Hey, Patrick Mahomes is the number one quarterback in the league. I'm going to like him. No, when we get into later, I know you guys are going to analyze the draft, and how much knowledge you're going to spread on everybody, on our audience, is going to be amazing. And I can't wait for it. And this is another reason why you keep learning and learning and learning and learning. This is what this podcast is going to be all about. So anyone that's listening, be ready, because we have segments that are going to be coming up with these individuals we are speaking of now. We will go backstage with everyone that we're going to be talking to and pick their brain and make sure, for you folks out there listening, the fans of our podcast, and we do appreciate you that are listening in, we want to inspire you. This is the whole point of this podcast. It's not to get personal gain. It's not to get sponsorships. That is nice. Don't get me wrong. but it's going to happen naturally, and this is what we want. We're not expecting to be on the level of Pat McAfee or Joe Rogan. Do we have the capabilities of doing so? F yeah, we do. And we want everyone that comes on our show and everyone that is going to be a part of the football program that we're a part of and this podcast, for example, just be yourself. You got to drop some F-bombs. I want to fair warn everybody. Yes, I will say fuck, shit, ass, all that stuff on this show. But I'm only to basically emphasize a story because I am who I am and you guys are who you are. And I love that about everybody. So be yourself. And that's the message of this podcast, is to inspire people, because we will be talking about mental health as well in the future, because I have some experience with mental health and we need to talk about that and discuss that. And I'm okay with it. And it's okay to talk about your emotions and everything like that. So this podcast today is very important for me personally. And I'm very proud to be doing this and sitting here today talking with everybody, including our audience.
Real quick, I'd be remiss if I didn't jump in and say this real quick. Do you guys know how Eric Spoelstra's career started, the current coach of the Miami Heat? He was a video person, okay? And for the Chicago Bulls back in 1995, he was doing video work. They just brought him in to, like, you know, do some videoing and sit down with some tape and cut some tape and edit and things of that nature. So, yes, that's how Eric Spoelstra started, number one, and kind of like what you guys are doing right now. Number two, the other thing I want to bring up is the movie Moneyball, right? You mentioned age, Rob. You're a little long in the tooth. Right? Yeah, Darrien, you're a little young in the tooth. But the point of it is, when you had Billy Beane and who his assistant was in the movie, the one had the future of what analytics looked like, where Billy Beane had the old school kind of scouting and a playing career. But the point of the matter is, when both came together, both learned something tremendous. And they were a great team. And that's what life's all about, right? Checking your ego at the door and saying, what can I teach you and what can I learn from you? And we can all learn and teach each other. And if everybody took that mindset, going back to mental health, things would be a better place.
It's funny that you bring that up, Roy, because quick little story. On my way back for my second year going to IMG as the football video coordinator at the time, I was transitioning back to Florida, and I had a very great individual by the name of EJ. I was telling him my next big plans, and ironically, he sat there and he asked me, what are you trying to be, the next Eric Spoelstra? And I already knew the story. I knew the story already. And I looked at him and I confidently said yes. I said, if we're going to put it in that aspect, yes, I am, because you have to start somewhere, right? And just getting great advice from NFL personnel guys, NFL DFOs, NFL coaches, assistant coaches, NFL player personnel guys who are well established right now, currently. They all sat here and said that you have to start somewhere, and most of them, if not 50%, at least 40%, started somewhere in the video department. That was their grind. The video department, sitting here learning the daily operations, sitting here organizing film, sitting here making sure that coaches, GMs, and the front office had what they need for them to successfully operate. And to answer that second question as well, something that I'm sure we'll dig into somewhere down the line, which I would love to, is just the combination of analytics and also still applying what you see with your eyes, what you see through film, and just one not outpowering the other, but coming to a combination of just truly being able to evaluate a player, discuss a player in the right nature and the right energy, and just sit here and be able to explain, hey, with these numbers, and also from what I see on film with my two eyes, we can sit here and say, hey, this is a well-rounded player, or hey, this player seems like he will sit here and come to be a real complete rounded player going down the line.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. Well said there. And yes, Theo Epstein even got his start in public relations, right? Or some guys even got started in the mailroom. So just get your foot in the door and work hard.
Absolutely, guys. And, since we're getting cut short today, I want to get us into the next segment. And the next segment, yes, we have a sponsor for this show. The next segment is brought to you by Your Dance DJ. Let your dance DJ take your party to the next level with musical energy and nonstop entertainment. Book today at yourdancedj.com or call 630-512-7016. Ask for Moon and let him know the House Jack City podcast sent you for 10% off your total services. So thank you, Moon, for that. He's the gentleman that actually has created all the logos for House Jack City brand and Structure Music back in the day. So remember, if you ever need a DJ for your wedding, a party, anything to that nature, give my guy Moon a call. Once again, yourdancedj.com. So, guys,
from my neck of the woods,
Chicagoland. That's correct, Roy. Chicago. Don't you need a DJ, Roy? Don't you need a DJ?
Well, with the Bears having the number one pick in the draft, they don't screw it up. I just may be giving him a call.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. And getting right into that, we're getting right into the mock draft. Take it away, boys, because you guys were waiting to talk about this all freaking day. So take it away, boys.
I think I'll let you start.
Well, go ahead, Darrien. I'll let you start, and then I'll jump in because in Chicago here, having the number one pick, it's a daily topic over and over and over again. And speaking of mental health, it's really starting to make some folks get a little anxious because what's going to happen here with Justin Fields, Caleb Williams, and everything else. Trade last year, they traded away the pick. So I'm going to let you start it off, and then I'll kind of come in after you, Darrien. So go ahead with your mock draft to break down your what are we going to do? Top five, Rob, and then I'll jump in. I'm going to give you my mock five on paper, and then I'm going to give you my Roy five if I was in charge. So the politically correct five, and then the Roy five. So take it away, Darrien.
Okay, Roy, I definitely appreciate that. I'm going to try and not get too messy with this, but, so much is going on with the situations between trade rumors, free agency rumors. So, of course, starting with your home team. Your home team really is taking the whole energy of this draft. And I love it. It's so much going on. So the way I'm going to look at this, I still feel like Justin Fields will be moved at some point. Where, I do not know. Personally, I hope Atlanta. I'm a Falcons fan, as y'all have probably just found that out right now. But if not there, then maybe Pittsburgh. But I am sitting here and I'm going off the point of view where Justin Fields will be gone by the time April comes, or literally when the draft is going on. Either or, he will not be on that roster. This is how I'm looking at it from that point of view. So with that being
Speaking of which, you guys want Justin Fields?
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't mind him. I feel like he would fit our scheme perfectly. I think what Raheem Morris is bringing to the Falcons will really sit here and just match with his abilities, his skills. And, I just feel like he needs a fair shot. I think it's time for a new environment, new culture, and just see what he can do. And then we can judge off of that. So, with that being said, the Bears. I feel like with that first pick, I know he has said like multiple times that Chicago isn't his most likable franchise that he would love to play for. But I do sit here and feel like over time, as they sit here and have more meetings with him, it will grow on him. The coaches will grow on him. So with that being said, I feel like the first pick will be Caleb Williams. So pick number one, I will say Chicago Bears. Drafts, Caleb Williams. Now, with that second pick, right? This is going to be an interesting one because now since Caleb is off the board, Washington, I'm pretty sure, is looking for a quarterback, right? So with that being said, you're stuck between Jaden Daniels and Drake May. Daniels is getting a lot of hype right now based off winning the Heisman, based off his record-breaking season at LSU. And he was fun to watch this year. But at the same time, I cannot ignore the 2 years of work that Drake May has put in at the University of North Carolina. And I also sit here and feel like North Carolina, because his background with North Carolina, it will fit the Commanders' culture a little bit more. At the same time, though, Cliff Kingsbury is there with the Commanders. So with that being said, it's a toss-up for me. So right now, I would like to sit here and stick with Daniels at 2, but I would not, and I mean I would absolutely not be surprised if Drake May gets drafted 2 rather than Daniels. But Daniels is big on height right now. They love his size. They love the film work. The offense that he came out of was very explosive, so that might do him good and get him selected 2. With that being said, pick number 3, Patriots. They have a whole situation going on with Mac Jones. I mean, no matter what they do with him, I feel like his time is limited. I feel like next year he will not come in as a starting quarterback. And even if he is still wearing their uniform, I just feel like he will not be that number 1 quarterback no more. I just feel like his well has ran dry in New England, and it would be nice to see him get another shot. But with that being said, my number 3 pick, the Patriots, goes with Drake May. You have Mayo there as a coach. Once again, he's a part of that Belichick culture. Belichick coached. Belichick brought up just staff. And I feel like he's just going to sit here and continue to emphasize it in his own way, in his own energy. So, that being said, my number 3 pick, the Patriots will select Drake May. Now, pick number 4. I feel like he's the best receiver in this draft. I love the receivers that are in this draft, but this one right here, I've watched him since his sophomore year. He's truly amazing. He's one of the most talented receivers I have probably seen since Justin Jefferson was at LSU. And this is no exaggeration, just his ball reading skills, the way he can catch the ball, the way he can manipulate his body to make sure his catches are still in bounds, the way he can sit here and just dice up DBs is truly amazing. With that being said, Kyler Murray needs him a guy, and his guy will be at pick number 4, Marvin Harrison Jr. The man's electric. I love him. I love what he can bring. He comes from a NFL blood background. His father, minus the other stuff, was one of the best receivers that Peyton Manning had at that time when they all played with the Colts. So with that being said, my 4th pick will be Marvin Harrison Jr. Now to sit here and to finish out number 5, my 5-pick mock draft. Chargers is in a very, very interesting situation. They're struggling with having decent receivers, or let's say consistent receivers, right? The receivers they had so far, when they haven't been injured, they have brought value to some sort, right? But at the same time, just hasn't been consistent in being what Herbert needs to advance to the next level. And to add with that, they're also dealing with an offensive line that isn't as strong as well. He hasn't been able to sit here and he hasn't been able to be more stable while in the pocket, and he hasn't been able to really complete the plays that we were starting to get used to that year that they was in the playoffs. So, with that being said, they can go a couple of avenues here, right? But I feel like right now, what you want to focus on is you want to protect your franchise guy. You want to protect your quarterback. And no matter what, you want to make sure that Herbert stays off the ground, off the field. That is your franchise guy. That is your franchise player. With the receivers being somewhat deep in this draft, I feel like no need to sit here and rush to sit here and draft a receiver. But if they were to do it, I like Ondunks from Washington. He was amazing all year. Championship game, he was very solid. He was poised. They lost, right? But he still was a productive factor for his team. But at the same time, I feel like with my number 5 pick, they stick to protecting their franchise guy and drafting J.C. Latham. I have to throw him in there because, once again, I work for him. IMG Academy alumni, J.C. Latham from Alabama. I feel like this is where the Chargers go with pick number 5. He was very solid in protecting Milroe. He was one of the more solid linemen for Alabama throughout the years. And I just feel like he's consistent. He has a size, I believe, 6'7", around 280. I mean, you can't beat that. And at the time when he was at IMG, a former Dallas Cowboy, I had to throw that in there, who used to be our DFO, sat here and just said like he was just so gifted with his hands, his footwork, his hips. It was gifted. And as you can sit here and see now, that has paid off now as he is about to be a top 5 pick, I believe, with the Chargers going 5th. And that will round out my 5 picks. Roy, I'm going to let you have it from here.
Hell yeah, Roy, get this. Hey, Roy, you got 10 minutes, my friend. We got 10 minutes, unfortunately, but 10 minutes. 8 of the 10 is all yours, my friend. 8 of the 10.
All right, so I pretty much agree with you on your picks here. So number 1 is Caleb Williams, right? My concern is, though, that the Bears are trying to right the wrong of not taking Pat Mahomes back in 2017. So now it's a copycat league. Everybody's trying to find the next Patrick Mahomes. Is it fair to say Caleb Williams is or the closest thing to him? And I think that's what's going on here. They are. His size concerns me a little bit at 6'1", 215. I mean, you know, with Justin Fields in house and his size, he's a little bigger than Caleb. So, you know, there's been some character issues that have been brought up. His toughness, you know, he didn't really have all that good of a year. On paper, they're going to take him. There's no doubt about it. However, I say, you know, if you trade this pick and you look at giving Justin weapons like giving him a Marvin Harrison Jr. and or a Joe Alt or a Talise Fuaga, now you could give him, you know, the interior lineman, a wall that you're building for him and a top receiver there. Could we win? Could we not win? And if we look at Justin Fields and we look at Rob's Eagles with, you know, Jalen Hurts, they made it to the Super Bowl. So that's kind of where I'm going. And I also, when I get some other time, because I don't have enough time today, I really want to pick your brain on J.J. McCarthy because I think he might be the underlooked here guy that maybe could he be a Tom Brady-esque or even a Brock Purdy where he wins and on paper he's not the flashiest of all the flashiest. But at 6'3", 202, that's enough height. And the kid won a championship. Championships mean something to me. Coming out of Michigan, he played for Jim Harbaugh. So, you know, if there was a way the Bears could say, hey, we'll keep Fields and maybe even draft McCarthy too. So that's another thing. But on paper, they're going to take Caleb Williams, number 1. That's what they're going to do. They want to right the wrong, and they want to find the next Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, I agree with you on Jaden Daniels just because of the fact that Cliff Kingsbury is there. He'd love to get his hands on Caleb Williams, but he's not. So would Drake May fit his system? I'm not necessarily sure that that's going to be the case. I think Jaden Daniels at 6'4", 210 and Cliff Kingsbury, I think that would be a perfect consolation prize for him if he can't get Caleb. Number 3, definitely Drake May going there. Next year's quarterback class is unknown right now. I don't know if there's really a consensus top guy or if it's really that deep. But if you got a chance to take May, now I know the comparisons are going to be unfair with you know, Mitch Trubisky coming out of North Carolina. So put those comparisons away. Let's look at the guy that's in uniform now and what he's doing. Don't compare him to, and same thing with USC, right? Don't compare Caleb Williams to Matt Leinart or even Carson Palmer for that matter. But I do like May going to the Patriots at 3. They could throw a curveball though, and they could take Marvin Harrison and say, well, maybe we could get a Michael Penix in round 2. So that's another scenario to look at. However, I think Drake May at 3. And then going down to 4 here, here's where they get their Larry Fitzgerald replacement, the Cardinals. And with you know, Kyler Murray at quarterback, he needs, if you're going to really say you're married to him and you're going to stick with him, he needs a weapon, right? So what better weapon than to not give him Marvin Harrison Jr., who, my God, at 6'4", 205 out of the Ohio State University. And that's, again, you know, if Justin Fields had him, what could be, right? But anyway, we're not going to look at the what could be's here. I do like Harrison going 4. And then, you know, getting down to pick number 5, definitely you got to keep Justin Herbert upright. He is your franchise. You've got to protect him like having a sports luxury car. You got to have a good garage to park it in, and you got to pick tackle here. You can go either Talise Fuaga, but I'm going to throw everybody a curveball. I'm going to pick Joe Alt here if I'm in the seat. I think Joe Alt out of Notre Dame had a hell of a combine, 6'7", 322 out of Notre Dame. I'm just high on this kid. He could be like maybe I'm even going to go out and say maybe a Tony Baselli-like type of a guy. So with him being there at number 5, I'd go 5, Joe Alt. Those are my top 5 picks. Now, I know there's a little more time here. I don't know if you have a chance to elaborate on J.J. McCarthy because you saw him up close and personal. Am I off kilter to say he could be the next Brock Purdy or maybe even Tom Brady?
I like J.J. I do. And I had this conversation with another great IMG individual, and we were just both honest. Like, once again, he is a great kid. Everything about him is real. There's nothing fake. Everything, his character, how he carries himself, that is him. That's JJ. But here's the thing. I feel like for it to work, he has the size. I believe he has the talent and the skills to be an NFL quarterback, but it has to be the right fit. It has to be the right team. With that being said, it has to be somewhat of a Brock Purdy situation, Tom Brady's situation where it was the right team who did believe in him, who did put him in the right scheme. This isn't a Caleb Williams or maybe even a Drake May situation where you can kind of throw him to almost any other team, and they will still come out a star quarterback. I believe JJ needs to be in the right organization who will trust him, who will not give up on him, and who will sit here and just know that it might take some time. It might take a couple years. It might take 2 or 3 years, but as long as you know that he's trending upwards and he's developing, then I believe you will have a solid quarterback with JJ.
I would, if I were the Bears, and I would. I'm rolling the dice here, but I'm saying trade the one, keep Fields, give them Joe Alt or a tackle, give them Marvin Harrison Jr. and draft McCarthy, have him in the background, let Justin Fields play out his, give him the 1-year extension, let him play it out, let him see what he's got with that. And then you got McCarthy in the background. And either way, if you got to trade one next year, then you make that decision next year. That's just me. But, I'm a little bit of a gambler. So that's my final thoughts on this draft.
I like it. I like the idea. I like how everything you just said, like, that is a good way of just putting it in that mindset and mind frame. And you know what? If the Bears were to go that route, I wouldn't even be mad at it. Like, once again, I feel like JJ is a real good guy. I feel like he's a real solid quarterback, and I feel like he has the tools to be a solid NFL quarterback. But he will be one of those guys who just give him some time, give him a couple years, and I believe like he will at least get to half of what Purdy has become.
And the Packers did that with Jordan Love. They let him sit for 3 years.
Yep.
So why not let him sit behind Justin Fields for at least a year?
Took him to the playoffs this year.
Absolutely, he did.
Why not let him sit behind Justin Fields for a year? And there's nothing wrong with a little competition.
Yeah.
So
we're going to leave it right there, guys, because we're running out of time, unfortunately. I know we can go on for hours. I still want to go on for hours, but we can't, unfortunately, because we're time limited here in the studio. But next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will definitely have more time. We're looking at hopefully an hour and a half time for our podcast in the future, so be ready. Roy, Darrien, thank you guys so much. You guys just dropped some hot knowledge. And
it's an honor. Yeah. I love this team right here.
This is a great team, man. This is a Super Bowl team. I guess I hate to say it this way, but let's just talk facts. We could be the next Kansas City Chiefs dynasty. I don't like to throw that down there, but you never know. So, Tony Baloney. So, all right, guys, we are running out of time. Any shout-outs? Any guys you want to shout out before we go? Roy, any shout-outs?
I just want to shout out to you guys, right? I mean, I'm here in the trenches with 2 great minds, and I'm really excited to see where the future is going to take all 3 of us. And I'm just excited to pick your brains, and this is going to be amazing. Like, yeah, this is just a start. It's gonna go way, way, way high. Lots to say. Shout out to you guys.
Thanks, brother.
Man, I just want to sit here and say shout out to y'all. Shout out to the family, and I know this won't be a every week thing for me, but the times I will get on here, Roy, me and you, me, you and Rob, we're gonna tear the studio down. They're gonna have to kick us out of here because we're just gonna sit here and drop so much great knowledge and have some great discussions. I'm just glad to sit here and have these moments, the days I can't have them, and man, it's gonna be fun.
Excellent. I got a couple shout outs. I want to shout out to my son Logan. He'll be turning 13 this year, man. He's growing up, following his dad's lead. I miss him, love him. I want to give a shout out to my lady Chrissy and my future stepson. Shout out to Everett as well. He's starting flag football this week, and he's got drafted to the Dolphins, so we got a little Tyreek Hill in him here. So shout out to them. Guys, that's it for today. This is it, the launch show, House Jack City Backstage Sports Edition, Episode 1. I'm your host, Rob Eggers. Guys, Roy Herman, Darrien Walker, we will be back soon. Make sure you take care of yourself and love yourself and love God. Take it easy, y'all.